Phucking, how can I help?
Hi Ruth.
Hi.
I'd really like to just. I'm a tenant with you guys in Dumfries. In Moffat. But really, I'd like to
Right.
just, if possible, I would like to be put through to as high up in management dealing with Dumfries and Moffat as possible, please.
Right. Could I take your postcode, please?
Yeah, it's DG10 9LN.
I need to do some security,
Yep.
and then I'll try and find out the nature of, why you're calling, basically.
Yep.
Can you give me your full address, please?
Yeah, it's 12 Frenchlands Drive, Moffat.
Thank you.
It's DG10 9LN.
Yeah. What's your name, please?
My name's Callum McPhail.
Thank you. I'll just keep you waiting there.
All right, it's fine.
Sorry, my system's a bit slow. I do apologise.
It's okay, it's fine.
Could you confirm for me, please, your date of birth?
Yeah, it's 10/10/72.
Thank you very much. And can you confirm the telephone number we'd have on record for you, please?
Yeah, it's 077 987 01667.
Thank you very much. Right, how can I help today, Mr. McPhail? Yeah, I appreciate you mentioned you wanted to speak to a manager, but and obviously I need to find out the nature of what's going on.
Well, if you spoke to a manager and that was in Dumfries and said my name and said my address, they should know what I'm phoning for. To be honest, I've been expecting a call for the last 2 weeks. I've phoned up three times in the last week and a half. Been promised every day that by the end of the day I'll hear from either the housing officer or her boss. It's never happened. I spoke to Wheatley about things, and basically what it is I had Wheatley in doing well, for me I've been in here 5 years, so it's the first inspection.
Right.
And what they discovered in my loft, because we have a mould issue on the outside walls, and in 5 years I've put my head in the loft once to put some empty boxes in, and the housing inspector dude 2 weeks ago discovered a cannabis grow room that has been partly disassembled, and now I moved back to Moffat at the time. Was having quite a good relationship with Donna, who was the agent here at the time. She knew my history. She knew stuff about me being an ex-drug user and all these sort of things, and also about my rehabilitation and stuff. And I felt like, that I'm trying to excuse somebody else's grow room as being my aim for starters, which is peeing me off. Also the fact that I've spoke to Wheatley, well, a guy called Frankie. I don't know if he's with you guys or at Wheatley. He's managed to get a team to come in next week, because what should have happened in the clearing of this grow room before I moved into this place was they took the plants out. Now I know that because I know the previous tenant, I know his family, I know my neighbours knew about it, saw things about it. They knew how many plants were removed, all these kind of things. I've known a little bit of history about it, but to see that, the damage that's been caused by the person that did all of this, is evidently what's led on to the mold developing and things like that.
The damp and mold issues,
and the thing is as well, due to what I was informed by either your colleague or the guy at Wheatley, was there would have been police involvement in this. There should have been would have been a crime scene. It should have been cleared out. There's irrigation systems up in my loft that have been up there untreated, unlooked at for 5 years now. Hot, cold, plastics that could be related to that. There could be electricals up there. I do have very weak water pressure upstairs, no downstairs. None of my neighbours have the same problem, so I'm going to hazard a guess that it's this irrigation system up there that's probably hindering the pressure. I've also had the housing the inspector came in and found 3 issues with the house. There was an issue with the bathroom light, a U-bend in the toilet was leaking, and also having issues with the new doors that were just put in 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm now having problems with a door that I'm now managing to close, but it cannot be locked. It cannot be locked now. I had 2 days.
Which door is that?
The front door. I had 2 days of the door not being able to even close. It's been problematic for the start. The housing inspector told me, the doors take a while to hang and maybe need readjusted and stuff like that, and they would come back and do that. That's fair enough. But I'm also finding out yesterday that probably there's nothing on file or on your records regarding these issues. So nothing's been relayed back for Wheatley to use in 2 weeks. The inspector that was here spoke to his boss and tried to talk to somebody at your office where they were thinking that it should be a category 1. That quickly got debunked by you guys, and a guy coming out and washing mould off in my kid's bedroom, which was the worst room, and spraying some sealant on it. The mould is already coming back. There's bits that have been missed. But what's irritating me is no getting in contact with me. Endless promises that somebody's going to contact me. It's not happened. I do have one missed call that's a private number. No message left. My phone goes to voicemail quite quickly. No text, no nothing. And I'm going to be quite frank with you. I've got my texts in about my rent going up and stuff like that. And I'm being told by Wheatley that what I should be doing is phoning news and be requesting to raise complaints about many people and the processes and the lack of due diligence and process and what happened in this roof, because I am an ex-addict, I am an ex-smoker that everybody knows in this town. I've spent the last 6-7 years getting clean, being clean, running drug recovery groups and all this sort of stuff. And I don't want anybody walking out this house with a grow room, because my neighbours will just pounce on that as well. And I've had enough with some of these clowns here as well. And I'm just, I'm extremely annoyed.
So is the issue that it wasn't cleared before you were moved in?
It wasn't cleared. No, they took the plants out and they left everything. I mean, to be honest,
they left everything else.
I mean, the guy has actually pulled away the insulation for the outside walls and just piled it on the inside. Obviously, I don't know if that was police when they were in. But at the end of the day, it's been like that for 5 years. When I stuck my head in this loft, I mean, I've only opened I don't have ladders, never have had. The only thing that's in that loft in mine was 3 Amazon boxes that have my name on them. There's nothing else in there. I mean, the inspector guy was here. I mean, I was so angry. I was telling him, like, I'll get these boxes DNA tested and stuff, mate, to prove that because I feel like I'm having to prove to you that this is no mine.
But it's not you.
That's annoying me to start with. But everything else, you know, the housing officer knew I had history of drugs. I was moving in here with a 6-year-old and a newborn on the way. And, you know, this is developed. I mean, the mould has actually only developed over the last 3 months. Just before Christmas, it started coming in.
Right.
So, to me as well, however that's permeated through into the house, it's taken 5 years. So that's not something that's going to go away with a wash. You know, in a wipe. It's no, fair enough that gets rid of the mould out of the room and they put a sealant out now. But to have no contact, no follow-up calls, 3 promises of follow-up calls for either my agent or our manager, no happening. Nothing seeming to be on record with you guys about repairs needing done for the house until I again stipulated them to you last week and yesterday or Monday. And this is where we're at now again. I'm having to chase up still calls and managers who are supposed to phone me. And to be honest now, stick it on record and stick it on a line on my record that I'm putting complaints in here because this is shocking behaviour, and it's especially shocking when it should be getting doubled down on once it was raised yesterday, especially with Fraser Fay Wheatley, who was telling me about the processes with things like police and what should have been done to that loft. That loft should have been cleared out completely, made full safe, made sure there was no electrics, no water systems up there, the insulation replaced or put back, everything removed. And I'm sitting here phoning yous up still, trying to talk to somebody.
I think I know you don't want to hear this, but I think the issue is because of, you know, where it is. Because it's Dumfries and Galloway. Because it's the Dumfries and Galloway Housing Partnership that sort of deal with all of that.
Right. Why is somebody telling me that they've... Listen, I was on the phone to one of your colleagues yesterday, and I was on the phone with one of your colleagues last week, and they put me on hold for 20 minutes, saying they were talking to somebody in Dumfries, and they didn't. And they said they were going to put me through to them. They didn't put me through to them. They told me I was going to get callbacks for either the officer or the manager. Didn't happen. I called again last week, got put on hold for 20 minutes. Same thing, and then I got put on hold yesterday for another 15 minutes and got told exactly the same things again, and it's not happened. So I don't really care what you're saying about being Dumfries or whatever. Just put me through to the office then. Put me through to the office or give me their number.
Right, give me a second.
Because the point is, your colleagues are saying that you're now going to go and talk to them in Dumfries, so you can get yourself put through to them. So either put me through them or give me the number and I can deal with them direct. Because this is shocking. Because at the end of the day, I'm getting a text for Home Group about my rent. So who's in charge of this? Who's getting my rent for this? This fucking shocking shambolic affairs, because it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not in a position now, because of ill health and being off work, and actually being on UC just now. Right now, I would hold my rent back for you guys. Simple as.
I mean, obviously, I can't.
I'm not in the position to do that because it's UC and it goes direct to you. But I would be holding my rent back, because this is a joke. This is nearly 3 weeks of this. It's 2 weeks and a bit, and it's no right. I'm trying to hold off putting the complaint in, and to be honest, I wonder what would be the point of putting a complaint in. It'd be like putting a complaint in against the police. No point, because it sounds like right now nobody wants to take responsibility for this. Nobody wants to even talk to me. They're actually leaving it.
I understand.
Me calling your office and dealing with you and your colleagues, which is at the end of the day, you're the switchboard, you're the one that's delegating where my calls go and stuff. It's
Absolutely.
not your issue. It's not your problem to fix or even attempt to fix. Your problem is to try and placate me as much as possible here, and it's not going to work. So,
no, I'm not trying to do that. I mean, bear with me a second. So I'm gonna let's have a look. So can I just ask, have you already started a complaint?
No, I've not started it yet because I was hoping to have the calls come in yesterday that Frankie was promising me would come, but they've not came. And you know, but I mean, he was telling me regardless of that, you should be putting a complaint in because this is ridiculous. And the fact that it's still been highlighted to the officer and our manager in the Dumfries division 2 weeks ago, and they've still not made any attempts. Even if they can, even if they turn around and say we called on this day, if I didn't answer, phone back. This is pretty serious because your house is the ceilings upstairs are dissolving with mold and whatever's creating that, and it's came from whoever's ignorance at leaving that up there.
Up there in the loft.
Somebody's decided to leave that up there, and I mean, I was told by Fraser, you know, police should have been stipulating about what should have been happening with that operation as well.
Well, I would have thought that would have happened. That's got to have happened if you find, you know, that's got to have happened.
I'm flabbergasted at this. I really am. I'm completely dumbfounded at it.
Yeah.
But what's worse is the non-reaction for you guys towards me to communicate with me. You know, your calls are recorded and all the rest of it. You've got me on record talking all of this, explaining it 3 times now to probably 3 different people. It's getting a little bit boring for me. And just
I can imagine that. I can imagine. Right, you're not going to like this, but can I put you on hold for a moment? Because in all honesty, I need to take some advice about how to move forward. Is that all right with you?
Aye, that's fine. But so did your colleague yesterday, and so did your colleague.
Oh no, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, doke.
I'll try not to keep you too long, Mr. McPhail. I really will. But
don't worry about how long it's going to take you and that. You know, the point is that it needs to move forward, and it needs to move forward today, or the complaint will have to go in. But it'll not just be a complaint. You know, I'll go into the public domain with this, like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very good friends with my MP here.
What I'm toying with is popping you through to the damp and mold team. I didn't
need to talk to the damp and mold team. They've been out and treated the damp and mold.
Did you say it's coming back though? So clearly you would.
Well, it's coming.
You'd want something done.
You can see that it's coming back, but the point is everything needs to be rectified up the top first. I have got somebody coming out on Saturday to check that check the irrigation and if there's electricals up there. That's what somebody's coming up to see me. There's been no promptness for the repairs that need done to the house. I'm basically bathing my children in a light that's like it's brighter if I lit a candle in my bathroom. I've bought 5 bulbs for it. Getting told every time that it's a faulty bulb, and it's a capacitator inside the thing. The leak. You know, the guy tried to say it was possibly condensation and all the rest of it. We've had new windows put in. Told them it's not that. It's definitely a leak. I've tested it because I've left urine in the water to check if it was dirty water that was coming through or whatever. It's a leak. It's no condensation either. I've now got the issues with the door. Now I can't lock my front door. I've got 2 kids.
Well, would you like me to raise a job for the door?
And I've also got a crazy fucking neighbour that got evicted on Boxing Day. We had an armed siege here. With police and everything, and he's been terrorising the neighbourhood, attacking them with axes and machetes, and I'm getting shit for him online because I live streamed it, actually protect him for police because I have issues with him, and I'm getting crap for him and been getting threats. I've had my tyres let down in the last 4 days. I don't know if it's this guy, and I've got an open door.
Well, what I was going to say, would you like me to raise a job to get that door fixed? Because I can do that now.
But the point is, it should be raised on your system. I spoke to somebody yesterday about it.
I think what would have happened there would have gone to Dumfries and Galloway Housing Partnership. That's what I think would have happened.
And nobody's contacted. I really need to be talking to somebody for Dumfries and Galloway. Why is my housing officer not talking to me here? She's the one that's responsible for all of this.
Let's have a look.
Mandy something. Her name's Mandy.
Certainly. It looks... Is it Mandy? Because it looks on here, on our system, it looks like it's somebody called Kerry.
Kerry, yeah, that's it. Kerry, yeah, Kerry.
Is that it, Kerry? Yeah.
Yeah, Kerry, yeah.
I mean, I can certainly send something through to Kerry.
Kerry needs spoken to.
Like
Kerry needs spoken to by somebody that's higher up than her as well, giving her a slap on the wrist here, because she should have been contacting me. This has been 2 weeks. The inspector that came to check everything in the house spent an hour and a half on the phone to Wheatley and you guys after his inspection, trying to get somebody to come and at least communicate with me and tell me what was going to happen. And I had to chase that call up as well. They need to be talking direct to me. They don't need to be getting emails and asked to contact me. Give me the number if you've got the number so I can contact them direct. I didn't even have contact details to phone the Dumfries office. To have these numbers.
We don't have the numbers for your housing manager. We would basically need to raise a notification through to your housing manager. I'm just looking to see if that's been done, but nothing's gone through to your housing manager. So I can certainly do that.
Well, this now raises me questions on when I'm getting put on hold. What's happening there? Because I'm getting told when they come back off hold that they've been talking to the housing officer, or the housing officer was in a meeting or something like that any of the times, and the other time it was they were talking to her manager about it. So surely that office has got a number.
Well, we don't have it. We don't communicate with the housing managers via telephone. We send a referral through is what we have to do.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's it. That's just pie in the sky nonsense as far as I'm concerned. No wonder you're having problems like this, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we have to do, is send a referral through to the housing manager.
So when you're saying you're going to go on hold, and these other people, your colleagues were telling me they were on hold, and they were telling me they were talking to somebody in the Dumfries division, that must be nonsense then. That must be rubbish.
Well, not necessarily. No, because that wouldn't necessarily be a housing manager. That's Dumfries and Galloway Housing Partnership.
What's the difference?
Well, your housing manager sort of manages locally.
But they were saying they were talking to her manager, her boss. No, her boss. And they were going to try and contact her boss and all the rest of it. So what is it? They're telling me that they're talking to them, but really they're just writing an email, hoping they're going to pick it up. This is serious. I'm getting ready to go to my MP in the morning if this is no resolved. You know, we're kicking on to 5 to 5 here. I don't want to keep you any longer than your shift, like. But
no, don't worry. That's what I'm here for.
This is
absolutely what I'm here for, Mr. McPhail.
You know, but I don't think, you know, that anybody in Dumfries is going to want to sit and take my call at 5 to 5, you know. So I've got another day, door open, can you lock it? It's a struggle to even shut it, to be honest. I don't want to be banging the door and risking damaging it even more and having anything thrown at me. You know, even the fact that they were almost like trying to insinuate that I hadn't opened vents on windows that were new, but I have a house that's got all the windows open, you know, and this is a guy making me think the mould was due to me no opening vents on windows when all my windows are open constantly, yet he then goes upstairs and finds out where the problem is, but the guy's actually insinuating this could come back at you because you never opened a vent on a window, when that's not the issue because the windows are open all the time. So how would it be an issue for the vent being closed when the windows are open all the time? We know where this came to now, and it's just, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I've spent 25 minutes here. It's now 3 minutes to 5. What's the point? Like, I might as well just go and bang my head in the oven door a few times and hopefully wake up on the kitchen floor in the morning and just use a buzz then.
Well, no, that's probably not the way to go. But let me just put you on hold, and I'll see what I can do. Okay?
So they just ended the call. They put me on They put me on hold. For about 10 minutes and they just cut the fucking call. Currently second in the queue. That is just amazing.
Thank you for continuing to hold. You are currently second in the queue.
Yeah, great. Fucking amazing.
How can I help you today?
Hi, I've just been hung up on after being on hold for about 10 minutes after a 20-minute phone call to one of your colleagues there. I don't know if she's still in the office. Standing next to you.
I do apologise that you weren't called back at all. Do you know who you were speaking to?
Can't remember her name, mate, to be honest.
Right. I mean, there's just likely left a note on the account. I mean, obviously, if the call did hang up, so I'll go through obviously the security questions that I need to go through first, and I'll be able to obviously I'll have a look at this for you. Can I take the postcode, please?
Yeah, DG10 9LN.
9LN, and the first line of the address, please.
12 Frenchlands Drive.
Is that number 12?
12, yeah.
Yeah, not a bother. Just waiting for the things to load up. It shouldn't take too long. So we're at 12 Frenchland Drive. As I say, I obviously I do presume that you went through this with the previous person that you're speaking to, but I'll just go through the security questions very quickly first. Just getting everything up. I've got some details here. Can I take your name, please?
Callum McPhail.
Yeah, I've got Callum McPhail there, thank you. Are you able to repeat the mobile number that's on your account, please?
Yeah, it's 07798701667.
Perfect, thank you. And then your date of birth as well, please.
10/10/72.
Yeah, that's all security questions passed. Right, so just gonna see, have a quick look to see who it was that you were speaking with. What was it about?
I'm getting really bored of this, to be honest. I've been complaining for weeks. Go and see Grandpa John. Get Grandpa John through the door. I've been complaining for 2 or 3 weeks. I had a housing inspector in 2.5 weeks ago, and they discovered a grow room up in my attic from the previous tenant. I've spoken to Wheatley. I've spoken to you guys on 3 occasions. Been told they were going to talk to my housing officer, get her to contact me. It's not happened. Talk to management. It's not happened. Told this story a million times. There's loads of other issues, and to be honest, last person that I just got hung up on was going to go and talk to somebody again to try and communicate with me. I'm getting ready to blow my fucking roof off, mate. I really am. Right.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate it's frustrating, obviously, especially if you've called in quite a few times now, and especially if obviously the call that you were on with the previous advisor did end. So, you mentioned that you had an inspector out a few weeks ago. Did you say it was a? Sorry if I misheard this. Did you say it was like a growth in your roof or something like that? Or
no, there was a cannabis grow room for the previous tenant 5 years ago that wasn't even. All they've done is removed the plants. They've left the entire grow room. Over the last 3 months, we've had mold developing around the whole house. Obviously, it's taken 5 years to develop. So whatever issues up there is a long-standing thing. The inspector went up, found this grow room that's not been removed. I've been told by the Wheatley group yesterday that should have been handled between Home Group in Dumfries and like liaising with police to get it cleared out. Yep. It should have been given the all clear because there's an irrigation system up there that we've discovered. I've got low pressure water pressure upstairs. Obviously, there's a feed coming off it. It should have been checked for electricals, obviously, because they would have had lights and things like that up there. And it's also like, you know, you're feeling like you're trying to explain a grow room that somebody else had, and it feels like I'm excusing my grow room. You know, it feels like it's like me trying to say it's no mine sort of thing. And it's on record. This has been handled completely wrong up until the point of discovery. Never mind that. But for the last 2 weeks, I'm getting the runaround here. I'm spending hours contacting you. I've also reported yesterday a new door that don't even close, never mind lock. I'm sitting in the house now with 2 kids under the age 6 and 12, autistic. Breathing issues with them, that getting dealt with. I can't even go to the house now and leave my bloody door open. There's issues with another neighbour who we had an armed siege with police here on Boxing Day, who have all been getting loads of hassle. I've had tyres let down. You know, my house isn't secure. There's nobody dealing with any of this. There's been promises of people phoning me, not happening, and I'm close to fucking blowing up, mate. I really am.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it all doesn't change anything, but I'm saying that you're going through many of these issues. Obviously, like it's already bad enough dealing with the issue with the cannabis grow room, but then you've mentioned the door issues and issues with another neighbour. Like, it is obviously going to make things a lot worse. So I want to do what I can to help. You mentioned that you were told by when Wheatley Group came out that you were going to get in contact with your housing manager. Have you not received any form of contact at all within the last few weeks?
Nothing at all for anybody, mate. Nothing. I've had a text about my rent getting put up, but after that, no, nothing.
No contact at all, which obviously isn't good enough at all. When you were on hold, well, before you got put on hold by the previous advisor, did they say they were going to get in contact with the housing manager, or what were they going to be doing before they put you on hold?
I don't know who she was going to be talking to, especially at this time of night. I was just led to believe she was maybe going to talk to one of your managers or ask for advice. But it's the same thing I've heard for every one of your colleagues every time I've phoned for the last 3 occasions that I've spoken to somebody over the last 2 weeks.
Right.
You know, and, you know, just empty promises. You know, getting told that they're going to leave obviously I understand now that your process is you drop them an email or a ping and hope that they pick it up and all the rest of it, but it's not good enough, man. It really isn't. It really isn't. Especially with the fact that it's been obviously uncovered that even the process of getting this house ready for me as a tenant with my children moving in has not even been done right, and that's been uncovered. And even the process for the fact that the housing inspector was in for the first time in 5 years, discovered issues with like my light in the bathroom, a leaking toilet, now the door, and just come on, I've got a house that's open now, like, you know, and there's nobody taking responsibility for this whatsoever.
I want to do what I can regarding these issues. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to have a look to see if I can get a hold of the tenant that you were speaking with, and just so I know what they have done so far. Obviously, they should have contacted you back beforehand, which obviously I apologise that didn't happen. I just want to see what's been done so far. I want to do what I can to help. I mean, obviously, if you were told that you were going to get in contact with a housing manager, if you haven't received contact within a few weeks, that's quite concerning. So we do need to chase them up. So through that, obviously, I'm going to see if I can get a hold of the person that you were speaking to. I will put you on a hold, but if it is a situation where it does cut off, then I have got your number here ended in 667. I can give you a call back.
Okay, doke.
Yeah, I shouldn't be shouldn't be long in a few minutes, but I will be back as quick as I can. Okay.
As long as it takes you, mate. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Cool.
No, not bother.
No
Well,
bother.
I'll be as quick as I can.
Okay, doke, bud.
Thank you very much for holding. I do apologise for being a little bit longer than I said I was going to be as well.
Oh,
I just had a look all across to see if I get a hold of the person that you were speaking with, but I wasn't able to, unfortunately. So I do apologise for that delay there. But considering the issues that you mentioned to me over the phone, I want to do what I can to address these for you. So the issue with that room that you mentioned that was uncovered, you mentioned that mould had been developing in there. Is that correct?
Why do you not have the information for the housing inspector about this? The entire house, upstairs, outside walls, leading to the inside, has got mould everywhere. I had a mould team out the day after the inspection to wipe the mould and spray some seal on it to obviously make the room safe as it can be just now for the sake of my children. The inspector tried to raise a category 1, they weren't interested in it.
Right.
The other issues that he's found with the house, he didn't even seem to have on record anywhere yet. 2 weeks after an inspection.
That's obviously very, very concerning because obviously when an inspection is completed, they do tend to raise the jobs like right after it. So I'm not sure what's gone wrong there. I can see that that there was a job that was raised for a mould wash. So was that mould wash all completed there?
That mould wash was done, but the mould's coming back through it already. You can see specks coming through.
Right. The mould's coming back. So obviously further work is definitely needed to be done there. You also mentioned
mate, there's a cannabis grow room being left in my attic from when the previous tenant got thrown out and evicted. There was police in here. There was plants removed.
Right.
There's an irrigation system upstairs, suspected probably electronics up there of some kind. There's a team coming out on Saturday morning to go upstairs to have a look at that. The insulation has all been removed and dumped in the middle of the attic area. There's foil hoses and pipes and tubes and everything for the grow room is up there in that loft. I've stuck my head up in that loft twice in 5 years. Day I moved in to put some boxes in, didn't think to stick a torchlight in and look round the place because I presumed it would be empty. When I went up with the housing inspector 2 weeks ago, I about had a bloody heart attack when I saw it, mate. The guy at Wheatley that I was talking to yesterday says I should raise a complaint, and if it doesn't get anywhere with I should go see my MP. That's what he said.
Well, obviously we do need to. I mean, it goes out saying obviously was it Kerry, the housing manager that you've been invited to get in contact with? But obviously you haven't received any communication from her.
Nothing whatsoever.
Right, and obviously we do need to get all the things that were there for the original cannabis grow room all removed.
They were also saying that they were talking to her bosses as well. Nothing. Right. So just you know, I mean, if I had a number for the Dumfries office, I could take it out with them, and that would be problem solved. Yeah. Obviously, you've got your protocol, but pinging somebody constantly, and I'm not being funny, mate, but you're the fourth person I've told this story to. It's getting boring.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can appreciate obviously telling the same story over the phone is going to get more grating every now and then. If I am a little bit quiet, by the way, I'm just doing what I need to do in the background. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. Yep. I'm sending a referral over to the housing team, obviously describing the situation. I'm not sure why there's a lack of records on this in our system, especially if you have called in on several occasions. So I will make sure that everything that we've gone through on the phone today is actually going to be noted on your account, just so if you need to call back other advisors, know what I've done so far. Yeah. So we obviously need to get the so what is, you mentioned that plants are being removed from the attic, but what is still currently there? You said like tubes were still there and stuff as well.
Everything's still there, yeah. Everything for the actual grow room.
As the attic was used. Again, if I'm quiet, I talk to myself. I'm just making sure this is all noted down. I shouldn't be too long. So that is used as a cannabis growth room. By a previous tenant. tenant. Plants have been removed since then, but there are still tubes, and so there's tubes like when you say everything, I'm presuming that that's like equipment to that's used to grow cannabis.
Everything seems to be there that's been used for it. Yeah, there's water irrigation pipes or whatever. And as I said, you would presume that there was electricals in the place. There doesn't seem to be any hole. I mean, the guy could probably have just run an extension or something up into the loft probably quite easily. There doesn't seem to be any holes or anything like that that's been made for cables or stuff. But at the end of the day, we'd still have had electrics up there if that's what he was doing. And I know a lot about the person as well. I moved back to Moffat, but I'm a Moffat boy. I know who it was. I know the history. Neighbours saw the plants getting removed, but nothing else. And it's absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, the guy, the inspector that was here, took many photographs and that as well. So they should have been supplied to you. Don't know what's going on with this. It's just.
It just seems like there's just been a massive lack of communication, which has obviously resulted in you having to call in on multiple occasions.
I don't know how there's been a lack of
story again, like you've had to do today.
I don't know how there's been a lack of communication. I'll tell you why. Because the housing inspector that was in here inspecting the house then actually lost his next job. He's a self-employed inspector. He lost his next job because he spent the next 2 hours on the phone to Wheatley and you guys trying to get this sorted out. Because Wheatley classed this as a category 1 and you guys just wanted to diminish it and push it away, blaming things like vents on windows when I have all my windows open all the time for things like mould and all the rest of it, condensation and the leaking U-bend in the toilet and such. It's just nonsense. And, he spent a lot of time talking to a lot of people, trying to reason with us and just getting nowhere. Left me after 2 hours saying, give him a phone. I also had the mold guy came out the next day. He left me telling me to phone you as well. And it's just, I spoke to Wheatley yesterday, the guy, Frankie, I don't know who he is, but, he says I should be putting a complaint in here. I don't want to do that, but, at the end of the day, where would that go? It'd be like putting a complaint against the police. It's just not going to get anywhere. It just sounds like people are just covering arses and deflecting and nobody taking responsibility for this whatsoever. And I'm hearing things like you never opened the vents, so that could come back at you. There'll be nothing fucking coming back at me here. And the thing is as well, I've got heart issues just now. I've had a couple of heart attacks last year. I'm getting really stressed out with it, and I'm on UC just now. And if I wasn't on UC, you wouldn't be getting my rent till this was sorted out. Simple as, And I'm very good mates with the MP's assistant in Moffat. She's my ex-girlfriend.
Just want to let you know what I've done, Mr. McPhail. Obviously, while I've just been doing what I do in the background, I have sent referral over to the housing team, just obviously describing the situation with the cannabis growth rate. I mean, they should have already been notified of this to begin with, but like I said, it's just been that communication. So I have put this for obviously mentioned that the equipment's still there. Need to get this removed.
I get what you're saying, right? But it's the same spiel I've had 4 times now. So how can this no be getting addressed 4 times? How can this no be getting picked up 4 times? Why are you looking at my records now and not seeing anything being referred for the last 2 weeks? It's absolutely ridiculous.
I won't be answer. I'm not. Again, if you have told the story 4 times, I'm not sure why this hasn't been done beforehand. But there is obviously a record on your account now that I have sent this referral off, and I have put this through as urgent. Because obviously, it is cannabis growth equipment being there is a risk to your health. So this should be dealt with. Any engine things that we do put through.
I've got a
24 hours.
I've got a front door I kind of lock. I
want to talk more about the.
I spent yesterday mucking about with it enough so I could actually close it. It wouldn't even close. I
want to talk more about obviously the repair issues that you've been having, but as I see, just about the issue with the equipment still being there. That should be responded to within 24 hours. I know you may have been told that beforehand, but I have put this through as obviously as urgent. Just I only mentioned the door issues, but you also mentioned that you had an issue with another neighbour. Did you say?
Aye, there was also like it's well documented because the housing knows about it because they have eventually moved this guy, but I think they've only moved him for trial because it's issues with the neighbours. He attacked a neighbour.
Right.
But there was an armed siege with the guy claiming he had a gun, but he's had terrorising the whole street for a couple of years. I'm a target now because I live streamed the police siege, and I've been getting shit for weeks. I've had 2 flat tires yesterday morning. I came out. The guy has appeared with some friends because they were using the house as a dog farm. As well as the guy having severe mental health issues. I'm getting doxxed and getting shit online for people connected to him, and I've got an open door.
Right. And well, we're obviously, if you've got an open, is it like is your property currently insecure at the moment because your front door? Like, is it the front door that's affected? Did you say?
Front door. I've managed to get it closed, so it's at least looking closed.
Right.
But I can't lock it.
Oh, you're not able to lock the door.
Can't move the handle up. Can't get any of the lockage on it or anything. When it's open, it seems to work. But it's no one to do.
In that case, obviously, like if it's an external door and you're not able to lock it, then that's something that obviously would be prioritised as an emergency repair. So I want to get that raised for you. Just more about the issue with the neighbour. Obviously, you mentioned like a lot of serious things that occurred there. Do you know which specific like house number this neighbour lives at?
Let me think. Let me do the maths. It's 14, 16. Darren Clark.
Number 16. Let me just just have a look at this really quickly. 2 seconds. Yeah. So it's Mr. Clark, Mr. Clark from number 16 Frenchman driver. So you mentioned there were loads of issues. You mentioned an armed siege. When did that occur again? Sorry.
That was on Boxing Day.
All right. So armed siege on Boxing Day. And did you mention that this person's also been like slitting your tyres as well?
Well, I don't know if it was him. I don't know. I mean, the tyres weren't slit; they were let down. But there has been sort of talk in the neighbourhood that in the middle of the night, there's been a couple of cars with some lads appeared. People have thought that they've went into the house. We know the guy's been moved to another place because there's a trial because he assaulted my friend at the other end of the street because the guy had been making sexual remarks to his daughter, and he tried to put his back window in the previous night. My mate had went to the door with his son. The guy answered the door with a crash helmet and a pickaxe in his hand, and then told police he had a gun. It was armed siege for an entire day. And I was even, I filmed it. I have a lot of issues with police and government. I'm an activist, and it was kind of covering his arse a wee bit as well. I tried to explain that to the family, but the guy's on the sex offenders list. Been informed about things like that. You have to Google all these things, and I'm getting doxxed and getting abuse online for people connected to him. I'm getting my address put up online all over the place. And live chats on TikTok, on YouTube, and all these kind of things with people. And then I walk out my door yesterday to 2 flat tyres. Like, they weren't slashed, but there was 2 flat tyres. A neighbour saying that a car had appeared either the night before or the previous night. I hadn't been out in my car yesterday because I was here trying to fix a door and try to get somewhere with you guys. The thing is, the issue with the door was raised yesterday. That should be on record and on. It's just, I don't know what's going on here. Like,
mentioning this now, I'm obviously listening to what you're telling me. I'm just obviously still doing things in the background here. But you'll clarify this. So just having a look there. Obviously, you mentioned like the issues that you've been having with a neighbour at number 16. There is some updates in regards to his tenancy. I wouldn't be able to say for data protection, but I have put this on the referral that's sent over to the housing team, just so like if the housing manager can give you a call and obviously update you on what's happening with that tenant. Cause did you say that that he got moved away, moved away due to a trial that was ongoing?
Aye, because my neighbour's obviously involved, and the guys went and pled not guilty, so he can go to trial and, you know, playing the system and making it go as long as they can and trying to get this wee lassie to be a witness. So they were obviously informed, you know, that the guy's been moved to a rural area just now, apparently for his protection, but fucking, it's anything but for his protection. The guy's been terrorising the street for years. I mean, his next door neighbour, he smashed his house up, his car up, accused the neighbour, who is completely, an entire life, zero drug involvement, yet the guy's a weed smoker, a crack smoker, a cokehead, and he was accusing the neighbour of putting heroin in water for the puppies that he was breeding, and he's part of some kind of breeding syndicate that's round about Scotland, so it's gang related to a certain extent, crime related, I would say, because I have a lot of connections in these sort of worlds, and I know that some of the people who have been doxing me and that are connected to certain people in the know, and you know, I've taken that to police anyway, and went down the right avenues with that, but. You know, the guy's been terrorising everybody. On the day of the armed siege, you know, the police were even trying to instigate arguments between me and him for bedroom windows and things like that. I'm raising issues with them about that. It's all on film, and it's just nuts, you know. And obviously, housing officers' hands are tied to what they can tell us to a certain extent. But, you know, we know this guy's on the sex offenders list, and if it's not true, it's easily disproved and all these sort of things. But it doesn't all look well, and you know, young girls getting 15-year-old girls getting terrorised, 55-year-old men getting attacked by dudes with pickaxes and stuff like that, and you know, we're getting made to feel like we're the baddies for being pissed off with them. Like,
I mean, even just like speaking to you briefly, and obviously just looking at like the notes that have been left on from like previous anti-social reports that have been made, obviously absolutely graphic and horrible. I think like obviously it's caused a boatload of issues with loads of neighbours in the residency, and you know, while obviously I know it doesn't change what you have gone through, obviously I'm really sorry that you haven't had to go through this, but while obviously I can't like mention what specifically like the update is on this tenancy for like data protection, there is some like new information that's been given regarding that tenant, so I will obviously let the housing manager know, and that obviously we're looking, you're still having issues with this neighbour, and hopefully obviously they'll be able to clarify what's happening with them. And the other issue that I wanted to mention is obviously the repair, because you mentioned that you're not able to lock your front door. I mean, in that case, that's something that we'll log as an emergency. Did you mention that you were having issues with another door on the property as well?
No.
Were there any? Well, obviously we've mentioned obviously the mold issues that you're still having, but obviously the front door as well. We do need.
The other issues was the capacity, the condenser in the bathroom light, because it's a mini sort of filament light. That's not working. I've had 5 bulbs. It's candlelight level light that's coming off it, and I've got a U-bend leaking on the toilet. I think that's only things that he would have found that we spoke about.
You know, like I said, obviously, like these things should have like obviously it's through no fault of your own, it's through like Hope Group's fault. Like obviously these things should have already been reported, especially if the inspection was done a few weeks ago. I'm just gonna have a look to see if the Dumfries, because obviously any repairs for Dumfries and Galloway properties that just go through to the Dumfries and Galloway line. So I just want to have a look to see if they're available, because we normally go out of hours after 5 o'clock. So I just want to have a look to see if there's anyone there, just so we can actually get these reported. So again, if I'm quiet, I'm just doing what I need to do in the background. Let me see. Right. See there. Right. I'm just gonna quickly check with someone to see if they are available. If they are, I'm gonna give them a call and potentially get you transferred through, just so we can get these repairs all logged. Before I do that, are there any other issues that we haven't covered on the phone that you would like to mention, just to see what I can do to help?
No, I think that's it. Like, I think that's definitely everything.
Not a problem, right? I'm gonna say if they are available. If so, I'm gonna give them a call.
There is actually one other wee thing. The water pressure on the boiler seems to be dropping below functioning level every couple of days. It used to be maybe every 3 or 4 months, but now it seems to be maybe 2-3 times a week.
I can get that reported myself, because we deal with any gas related issues. I'm presuming your boiler is a gas boiler.
Aye, it's a combi boiler. Aye.
Right, not about that. I'm gonna get this raised. So you said that the water pressure on the boiler was dropping every few days. Did you say?
Aye.
Right, not about that. I'm gonna get this job raised now. Is there anyone in the property that has any vulnerabilities that we need to be made aware of?
How do you mean?
So by vulnerabilities refer like, are there any like physical conditions or any like mental conditions
Yeah,
that
I mean,
we need to be made aware of that might affect the job?
That might affect the job. How do you mean? Sorry, I'm just my brain's away. Like.
Oh, sorry. So for example, if you had like mobility issues and it may take you more time to answer the door.
No. I've not got nothing like that. No.
Nothing about that. Like no problem. In terms of contact, is the number that you're ringing us from, is that the best one to contact you on?
Aye.
Not about that. Right. Let me just get this all raised now. So water pressure on boiler. Boiler seems to be dropping more than usual. Every few days it is going down. Right. So I'll have a look to see if I can get any appointment for this. It's likely with, I do believe, any gas related issues that do go through to Novus. So I'll have a look to see if I can get anything appointed while I'm on the phone with you. Do you have any preferences of when you want them to come out for, so I can get an appointment?
No, just I mean, I do school runs in the morning. That's it. Like, school runs about 8:30 till 9 o'clock, and then 2:30 till 3:30. I'm sort of out the zone.
But yeah, I've had a look there and I couldn't get anything appointed. But what I'll do, obviously, this will be sent off as an appointed job over to Novus, and obviously we'll make sure they'll either give you a call or you'll receive a text with an appointment. I have put this down as an urgent repair considering it's a Baralga or a boiler issue. We do advise that Novus do aim to get the urgent repairs done within 3 working days for any boiler issues, but we advise that like any urgent repairs in general, they can take over 14 days in the worst case scenario. But we obviously want to get that done sooner rather than later. Now, obviously, we've got that gas issue all reported. I will see if the Dumfries and Galloway line is available. It would mean I need to put you on hold again, but like I said earlier, if it does, even in the worst case scenario, if it does disconnect, I will call you back, okay?
Okay, no bother, man.
I believe you've got some repairs to report.
Are you having
right?
Are you having a laugh here? You're going to ask me to start talking all this again? I've been talking this for like 2 weeks, man. You're telling me that you didn't have anything on record?
An idea. I've just been transferred your call, to be honest with you. So
you're all right, sorry, you've just been... Right, okay, right. What do you want to count?
Right, well, I mean, it's 12 Frenchland Drive, Moffat, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was your name?
Callum McPhail.
Okay, so you've got an issue with mould. Is that the ongoing problem, or what?
No, I've got issues with a cannabis grow room that was left there for the previous tenant, and the home group didn't clear it out. They didn't liaise with police. They didn't get it checked for water irrigation and electricals. They didn't replace the insulation. They didn't remove the entire grow room, and yeah, that's why you've got mold problems now. The mould was cleaned up the day after the inspection 2.5 weeks ago, and it was cleaned and sealed. It's now coming through. The clean-up job wasn't completely done. The bits that were missed are getting worse, and I don't know, and it's not your fault, like, but I'm going to have a fucking hemorrhage, like. Really am.
Okay, and have you spoken to home group to let them know that this
I've
is
been on the phone.
Issue?
I've been
on. We can deal with your repairs.
Who just spoke to you?
It was home group that transferred your call.
Right. So do you think I've spoke to home group?
I'm just checking if you've explained the situation to them, because obviously they would need to be aware of the issue with the other property as well.
I can assure you I've explained it to them 4 times in the last 10 days and got absolutely nowhere with them.
Okay.
I don't actually even understand.
When was the last time that they were...
Sorry, go for it.
When was the last time they were out carrying out a mould wash for you?
Mould wash was the day after your inspector was here, so it would be roughly 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay, because there is a job line on for this to be done. It's not been appointed yet, because it looks like it needs to be scheduled with an electrical job from what the notes say.
Yeah, I've got that. That came through yesterday. They're coming here on They're coming here on Saturday to do that.
All right. No problem.
Which is completely inconvenient. Somebody should have phoned me because I've had to cancel stuff for my kids now.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the appointments aren't suitable, you can always phone us and we can try and rearrange it for
matter.
you. Did you want me to leave it in for the Saturday?
Just what I'd done. Like, this has just gone on too long. The lack of communication back and forth, the lack of communication between yourselves and home group is just completely ridiculous. It really is. And I'm standing here having to try and convince people this is no my grow room, which is pissing me off, I know.
Right, okay. Okay, so the person that's transferred me your calls also mentioned that you've got an issue with your front door.
Yep.
So is it not locking and securing?
It's no locking and securing. I've managed to get it closed, but it's no locking.
Okay. And are you in this evening?
I'm in, yeah. Okay.
I'll need to transfer that out to the on-call staff, so we'll have one of the joiners with you this evening as soon as possible. And was there a problem with your bathroom light?
This is the bathroom light, yeah, the sort of, because it's like it's a fluorescent, like the mini fluorescence, so the guy's saying the fluorescence in the kitchen, you can move the dial to get them firing. He says that mechanism's behind a lot of fittings, so you can't access it. I went through like 4 or 5 bulbs, try to resolve it, and it's obviously it's back there.
Okay.
And there's also the.
Is it not?
Sorry.
Sorry, just to check, is the bathroom light working at all just now?
It's working, but it's lower than candlelight.
Okay. Okay, so for an electrician appointment for this light, at the moment the first we have would be Sunday, or we've got Tuesday. Got a preference or any times that are working better for you?
Tuesday would be better, so I can at least try and do something on Sunday when we're there.
That's fine. So on Tuesday we can do between 10 and 2 or between 12 and 4:30.
That's fine. 10 and 2 would be best for me. Yeah.
Fine. So that's for your light. And then was there one other one that you mentioned? Was there an issue with the toilet?
The U-bend, the drain pipe, the I can't remember what it's called. My brain's fried today. The outlet for the water's leaking.
Okay. Is it containable?
Aye, I mean I've got a towel wrap. I've got a towel wrapped around it now, and it's holding the water enough. If I didn't have the towel wrapped around it, it's running out within maybe an hour, like. But I'm managing to contain it with a towel.
Right. Okay. I'll just see when we can get the plumber to you. Right, the plumber appointments are actually quite full. You're looking a few weeks for a plumber, and given that it's obviously, pouring in a towel, we wouldn't really want to leave it that long.
Mm-hmm.
What I would maybe suggest is if you wanted to give us a phone tomorrow about that one, we could arrange for someone to come out tomorrow as an on-the-day appointment.
Right.
If you're able to, contain it maybe this evening, if that's okay.
Yep. And that's phone that you guys direct weekly, yeah?
Yeah, you can phone us direct if you like. Do you want me to give you the weekly number?
Aye, go on, because to be honest, I'm at my wit's end with home group, to be honest.
No problem. So it's 0800.
Yep.
011.
Yep.
3447.
447.
When you call through, if you just let us know that you're a home group tenant and you've got an issue with your toilet that's leaking and you need it attended to, we'll get that put through for the same day.
Okay. And it's Tuesday 10 till 2. Okay, doke.
What's that, sorry?
That's fine.
Yeah, but the joiner will be with you tonight. I'm just going to give him a call, who's on call, and then they'll get to you. I don't know exactly how long it'll be. It just depends on how many other emergency appointments they've got, but they will be with you really as soon as possible.
Joiner, okay, I'll take it you can what you are doing. Like, there's no wooden doors or anything like that.
All right, what's the kind of doors that you have?
Well, they're plastic, they're PV, whatever they're called, PVU doors. They've all just been renewed. They were literally just put in like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right, so has this been done as like an investment through Home Group? Is this like front doors, like doors and windows, or is it just like a one-off kind of thing?
Aye. There's just when you're going on with that, I was talking to the Home Group guy. There is other issues. So the windows have not been finished to any sort of level of high standard. There's a lot of ceiling on the windows that's missing. There is gaps between the window sills and the sides of the windows on ground floor level. You could literally put your hand in the gaps. But you know, you've had an inspector out here 2 weeks ago. You know, taking pictures galore and whatever, and I don't understand what is going on here whatsoever with yous. I really don't. I know it's not your fault, but it's.
No, I understand. I get where you're coming from. The only thing is with the windows and doors, they're done through investment, so we deal with all your reactive repairs. So any general repairs you need to report are dealt with bi-weekly, but the investment work is still done through Home Group. So issues with your windows and things would need to go directly to them. Okay.
Right.
But I'll get this put through just now. We'll get in touch with the joiner now, and we'll try and get someone out as quick as they can.
Right. So that's for the door, aye.
Okay.
Okay, doke.
That's for your door, yeah.
Right. No bother.
All right. Thanks for your call today.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
And there you have it. What an absolute fucking shit show. Home Group. If you get a chance to get in a house with Home Group, tell them to shove it up their fucking arses.